Recorded at the St. Brigid Centre for the Arts, located here in Ottawa's Lower Town, this is the St. Brigid Sessions. If you do not know, the St. Brigid Centre for the Arts is a multidisciplinary venue for all kinds of artistic, cultural, and social events. The centre is housed in St. Brigid's, a former church built in 1890 and located at 310 St. Patrick Street. St. Brigid Sessions are brought to you by Brigid's Well, a pub located in the basement of St. Brigid's and accessible by the entrance on Cumberland Street. Brigid's Well opens at 4 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday. My name is Stephen Neale, and our performer today on the St. Brigid Sessions is Kaleigh Watts. Welcome to the St. Brigid Sessions.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
And we'll just tell a little story. We'll hear a couple of songs right away, but I thought you were based here in Ottawa, but you've come all the way from Toronto today for the performance and our recording, so thank you so much for doing that.
Absolutely.
And how about we first hear a couple songs, then we'll come back and we'll chat a little more.
Okay. So this first song is called Savour, and it's the first track off of my project Smoke Lake. Wait for the bus to go by.
Save her, be the savior that takes her from the rupture she calls home. Be the water she survives on. Watch as she basks in her boat, keeps afloat by your salty ocean. And savor, savor that sultry shiver that formulates your reasons for intrigue. And savor, savor that numbing flavor that your bones feel lying next to me. Be a sailor and sail her away from the pain that she frets and regrets in her heart. Play the part of a rhythm that she breathes, the inhale and the exhale of her tortured heartbeat. And savor, savor that sultry shiver that formulates your reasons for intrigue. And savor, savor that numbing flavor that your bones feel lying next to me. That your bones feel lying next to me. That my bones feel lying with the sea.
Okay, so this next song I'm going to play is the second track off of Smoke Lake. This is a song about my childhood home. I'm from Lakefield, Ontario. It's a really small town. just north of Peterborough. It's considered cottage country, so really small town. Anyway, this is a song called In the Attic.
The foundation will never crack, and your water pipes will never lack sympathy for this nest. You've cobwebs on your ceilings, not appealing for the ones who dry you out. To me, you're such a lovely house. Most of them come then drive away. That's why you are my place to stray. Your ghost sits with me. He swallows the caffeine and taunts me, although his tactic is quite classic. Our appointments frequent in the attic. Each time I try to take it in and enjoy a little piece of sin, you remain heavenly and warm, a sturdy shelter from this storm.
It's Kaleigh Watts here on CKCU FM in the St. Brigid Sessions. 2 songs from your EP, Smoke Lake, that came out in 2014.
It did, yes.
And one thing, when I remember listening to it and the recording on it, and I read too that it was recorded in your cottage without electricity,
Yes, that's correct.
with a variety of different sound effects that just occurred.
Yes, I have a family cabin in Algonquin Park. It's on Smoke Lake, and that's where the title of the project came from.
As it would.
And I went up there over the course of 2013 and 2014 with a very talented singer-songwriter in Ottawa, Gabrielle Giguère. She was the producer of the project. She's the front woman of Her Harbor. And the two of us went up to my cottage, and we recorded the whole project in a few trips, and just gained inspiration while we were there. Played a lot with different textures from around the park, different field recordings of birds. There's some fire crackles on the project as well. There's rain on the roof of the cabin, and there's also some really interesting little objects and textures in there as well. There's some pots and pans and different household objects from the cabin that we played with violin and cello bows, and so it was a experimentation project.
And I was reading too that you were based here. I said at the beginning you're now living in Toronto, but you were based here in Ottawa for a time, and you went to school at Carleton to study music?
I did, yeah. I lived in Ottawa for 5 years, and I studied as a folk singer-songwriter at Carleton University.
And did you, when you were at school, or is part of the course curriculum, or however you want to phrase it, in the school, like playing with different sounds and finding sounds in different spots or through different things and incorporating that into your music, or was that just something that...
I think that's something that I did mostly on my own, just experimenting with different sounds and trying to use different sounds from nature and soundscapes and bringing it into my music. For example, we can hear the bus sometimes, which that's something that I really love about making sound and music. But at Carleton specifically, I had the opportunity to explore a number of genres. I studied also as a jazz vocalist. I was a singer in the Carleton Jazz Ensemble. So I think elements of that have really made its way into my own sound. I have some new material that is definitely a little bit more jazzy, and yeah.
I think we're going to hear
Yes.
one of those in a minute or two, but I want to go back to the first song, Savour. And I love that word. And I like in that song, one thing I've picked up, maybe it's just the way I hear it, but you also play with the pronunciation of that word in the song. You say save her and savior. And
Yeah,
is
lots
that-
of different plays on words a little bit.
and playing with words and that sound and that pronunciation is also a sound in and of itself. Is that what you're trying to get at when you do that, or is that more about the writing of the words?
I think it's definitely the writing of the words, but for me, the voice is an instrument in itself. I really like it to shine in my music. My guitar is very minimal, and all of the other textures and sounds in my songs, they're more of a support to the voice, so I really like to feature that. And I think pronouncing words,
Well,
can't pronounce, pronouncing words like when I save her, like putting such emphasis on that, I think it helps with the emotion of the word as well. And I don't know, that's just how I sing as well.
Oh.
So it's hard to explain.
you're listening to the St. Brigid Sessions, recorded here at the St. Brigid Center for the Arts and broadcast on CKCU 93.1 FM. St. Brigid Sessions are brought to you by Brigid's Well, a pub located right here in the basement of St. Brigid's. And our performer today is Kaleigh Watts, and we're going to hear some more music from you. And this one is, if I have the order right, an a cappella number. Or no?
No.
Okay. That's the next one.
Next one after that,
Okay.
yes.
We won't tell anybody that it's
You didn't hear that. Yes, so this is an old new one. It's an old song that I wrote when I first moved to Ottawa. It's called The Lonely Poet, and it has taken on a number of meanings over the years, and I've been playing it at shows. But it's going to be released on this new project that I'm putting out in the fall, and it has a different kind of take on it instrumentally. So you'll have to wait and hear when the CD comes out, but I'll play.
Okay, well, let's hear
I'll
these
play it
couple of
right now.
songs right now, and then we'll come back and talk about your new project and talk some more.
Yeah, sounds good. So this is The Lonely Poet.
Today, you're officially old, white, gray, and lying alone, quietly cold and resting in wood. I came with a voice and a song, like I promised I would. You used to sit in your bat cave, sit in your bad cave, cold, cutting ties with beliefs you'd abide with, no heart, just a head and a soul. I was a mouth and a cord, tying strings from my heart to your words. You made it lose a lot of blood. You let it lose a lot of blood. And now you know of a still heart, and you know of your poetry's worth, as I stand still in your crowd. The faces on tombs and the tears from the trees reflect memories of sipping wine and watching dirty movies. We used to lie in your bat cave, lie in your bad cave, cold, cutting ties with beliefs we'd abide with, no heart, just a head and a soul. You recited a phrase and a rhyme to keep me packaged in your parlor for a playful night. and I fell in love with your lines. And the strings on my heart did not oblige. You used to sit in your bat cave, sit in your bat cave cove, cutting ties with beliefs you'd abide with, no heart, just a head and a soul. I had your card and your die, counted to 7, took a picture, tear it of our time, but you were dead when I arrived. And you'd been dead for quite some time. Okay. Just put my guitar down there a sec. So this next song is called Blue. And this is the a cappella song, Steve. And it has a little bit of a jazzy flair to it. It is a blues song. So yeah, and I composed it while studying jazz at Carleton. And it's called Blue. My baby feeds my blues. Yeah, he feeds them all the time. My baby bleeds my blues. Yeah, he bleeds them with his life. He can give me his loving, but never his time. All that I ever wanted is for him to be mine. How he puts my fire out, bleeds my blood into a drought, but my heart still sings at his sound. How he puts my fire out, bleeds my blood into a drought, but my toes still tap to his tune. He makes me blue, blue, he makes me blue, blue. My baby feeds my blues. Yeah, he feeds them all the time. My baby bleeds my blues. Yeah, he bleeds them with his lies. He can give me his loving, but never his timing. All that I ever wanted is for him to be mine. How he puts my fire out, bleeds my blood into a drought, but my heart still sings at his sound. How he puts my fire out, bleeds my blood into a drought, but my toes still tap to his tune. He makes me blue, blue, he makes me blue, blue.
Kaleigh Watts here on CKCU FM and the St. Brigid Sessions, with recorded here at the St. Brigid Center for the Arts. And that you mentioned, that song was called Blue, and before that we heard The Lonely Planet, both of which are taken from a new project that you are presently working on.
Yes, I'm in the pre-production process of the project.
And it's called
Hung Me Dry.
Hung Me Dry, which we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that's obviously in the past tense.
Yes.
And is there particular theme or reason, or is there something that you're particularly consumed about writing about at the minute?
Yeah, so it is past tense, and I think it is a collection of songs that I wrote while I was living in Ottawa.
Right.
And particularly lyrically, they talk a lot about loss and like a breaking of trust between people. And I not that Ottawa was not that was a reflection of my time in Ottawa, because I really love the city, but I think that it is past tense because it's time for me to, release it and get it out there. And The Lonely Poet, like I was saying before, is an older song, so I am still really proud of it and want to share it. And it's called Hung Me Dry, and there is a song called Hung Me Dry on the project as well, which will explain everything. I'm not doing a really good job of explaining it right now. It's hard to talk about it too, with it not being finished yet, because it can still take so many different shapes and forms once it's in the studio. And so.
Well, I think listeners to CKCU FM and those who follow the local music scene or have been involved in the local music scene certainly understand how a project can change and sometimes take longer than the artist would particularly wish for, because it is very challenging to do it on your own or with your own independent team. Yes. Now, when you were here in Ottawa, you made some very serious musical connections too. With perhaps I'll let you explain who you made who you connected to.
Well, it was actually through Carleton University. I was really, really privileged to be able to study with two local singer-songwriters. One, Megan Jerome. She is an incredible teacher and a very dear friend, and she was the first teacher I actually had at Carleton, and she really helped me to find my sound and to really find myself as an artist. And the second is Lynn Miles, and she's a very, very amazing woman, and I'm just so grateful to have been given the opportunity to study under her, and she's really helped me to grow and flourish as an artist and as an individual as well. And I hope to be able to work with her in the future.
Well, I would suspect that you will, because you've been great here on the St. Brigid Sessions, and we're going to play one more song, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. And the song we're going to hear is...
this is Smoke Lake. It's the title track of Smoke Lake. Well, title track.
All right, well, let's give it a listen.
So this song lyrically sums up the whole Smoke Lake project for me. I recorded it at my family cabin, like I mentioned before, and really reflects the theme of family, which is really recurring for me. And also, I'm working on another project as well. I just got back from 3 months backpacking in the UK, and while I was there, I was exploring my ancestry and a little bit of my family history. And so I'm really happy to be here today playing this song, Smoke Lake, because I've been spending a lot of time doing some research, and this song is a reflection of that as well. So this is Smoke Lake. Insert fire crackles here.
before winter's ice glistened and frost petals bloomed. I was born from my mother under a crisp autumn moon. She gave birth to a bird. Her and my father took me to your water, sparked my hunger as a babe. On the dance of your currents, navy and gray, my wings first moved within the bay. And that's when your smoke swallowed me whole. Smoke swallowed me whole. The echo from your cedar ribbons sprouted my song among the wild. The silence spoke to me splendor. I found purpose as a child. And your smoke poured from my throat. Ooh. And when I am old and can no longer speak, bring me to your wood to be in your peace. Lay down my bones upon your shore. Let the smoke hover over and swallow me whole. Smoke swallow me whole. Smoke swallow me whole. Smoke, ooh, smoke, swallow me whole.
Kaleigh Watts here on CKCU FM in the St. Brigid sessions. And when we started to come up and work this idea and think about this idea, I remember so much this record, the Smoke Lake EP that you put out with, as we've referenced, crackling fire, rain, and other various sounds of nature. And you've done a magnificent job here at the sessions today, dealing with the creaking floors and the crackling of the building and the traffic. So thank you so much, for
Stephen.
coming in here today to participate in the St. Brigid sessions. And you have been listening to the St. Brigid sessions recorded here at the St. Brigid Centre for the Arts, located in Ottawa's Lower Town at 310 St. Patrick Street. Our performer, as I mentioned, has been Kaleigh Watts. I'm your host, Stephen Neale. Thank you to our production team of David Bignell, Jose Robillard, Patricia Trail, Robert Patterson, Jason Leroux, and Liam Tyrrell. St. Brigid Sessions are brought to you by Brigid's Well, a pub located right here in the basement of a church. You can't get really much better than that, can you? And is accessible by the entrance on Cumberland Street. Brigid's Well opens at 4 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday. Thank you for listening.
Smoke swallow me whole. Smoke, ooh, smoke. Swallowed me